In today's episode, we cross many bridges to learn about one of Broadway's most complex and interesting musicals. Hi, I'm Matthew McKellar, and this is Q to Q, a podcast all about local North Carolina theater. And in today's episode, we are interviewing Seth Greene, who is a part of the Playhouse of Wilson's production of The Bridges of Madison County. I hope you enjoy. All right, so do you want to just start with the introduction of who you are and how you got started into theater?
Sure. Hi, I'm Seth Greene. I'm a local theater artist and content creator. I started into theater. I was in junior and well, I grew a little bit of backstory. I grew up in a pretty musical like family.
Mm-hmm.
Grew up in a lot like a big Southern gospel family on the East Coast, and music has always been a part of my life. Always was singing and stuff. Wanted to get into theater for years. Did not have the ability to until my junior year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
One of my friends at the time was doing Act for Youth and had been doing Act for Youth for years. And basically, he messaged me and was like, "Hey, we're looking for guys. Like, is there any way like you'd be interested?" And I was like, "I mean, I've been wanting to do it for years, so absolutely." So I went, auditioned, and the rest is history.
Nice. What was your first show with Act for Youth?
My first show with Act for Youth was Once on This Island. A little slightly problematic, but
Yeah.
everyone's got to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. And you've been doing it for a number of years now. Like,
Yeah, so this will be my first year was fall of 2018, so this fall will make 8 years.
wow, that is
Crazy.
impressive. And you said you're a content creator. I see we're coming, or you're interviewing from your studio. Do you want to
Yeah,
talk
I
about
am.
your, um, the just you being a content creator?
Yeah, so that started kind of as a so I went to school when I graduated from high school. I went to Elon for a year, Elon University, and I thought I wanted to be a musical theater major for like a long time in high school, and then that ultimately changed. I was like, this is not stable enough.
Hmm.
Let me do something that's still music oriented, but it's not completely stable, but slightly more stable. So I went to school for songwriting and music production. Transferred from Elon after my first year to Berklee College of Music in Boston, and go Jazz Cats. And basically, I when I graduated in 2024, I was trying to figure out, okay, so how can I try to at least get some kind of like following, so maybe like one day a label will notice me or something. And so I
Hmm.
started posting a lot on TikTok. And what started as a plan to post like twice or three times a week quickly turned into 5 days a week, which right now it's not that consistent, but yeah. So I about last July, I think it was July 3rd, 2025. I had posted a video of me singing Evermore from Beauty and the Beast, and
Yes.
within I when I posted the video, I think I had 300 followers, and 3 days later, I was sitting at about 12,000. The
Yes.
video, I think to this day, it has 2.8 million views.
It was
So
something like.
yeah, it popped off and out of nowhere, and so since then, I have started posting pretty consistently. So
Hmm.
Mondays I do like a Disney song. Tuesdays I'll do like some kind of like commercial music, like pop song, country song, rock song. Uh, Wednesday I stream on TikTok. Thursday I post a theater song because that's probably what does the best right now. And then Friday I stream, and I was doing full covers on my YouTube channel, but that when I was sick earlier this year, and that kind of fell to the wayside. So I'm trying to get back to that right now. But yeah, I still stream on Fridays as well.
Gotcha. That's very cool. Yeah, you definitely have the voice of an angel.
Thank you.
Crisp as can be, clear as can be, so good and very pop oriented, but also you're very strong with like the musical theater twang. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, I and you talked about going to Berkeley for music. Is there a particular type of music you prefer listening to or creating?
Oh, I mean, I would put myself as a writer. I would put myself like more pop oriented, yet I kind of qualify myself as a singer-songwriter because I like to let the song do the storytelling and whatever that
Hmm.
needs to help it get to where it is I kind of follow that. I mean, a lot of stuff is more pop oriented, but like there will be some things with like some country aspects. There'll be something with like some jazz or like some blues aspects, and it
Hmm.
kind of just fluctuates from there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome. Yeah. And you've also served as not only an actor, we've acted alongside each other, but
yeah,
also a director. You were my director in Into the Woods, and then also a music director. You've music directed Newsies, Legally Blonde Jr., and now Six. And I recently had Haley Matthews do a podcast, and we talked about your style as a music director. Do you want to I don't know. What do you have to say about your experiences music directing in Act for Youth?
yeah. So I started music directing stuff when I was in high school. So that
Oh,
like I music directed multiple summer camps for like
gotcha.
volunteer hours in high school. So like,
Hmm.
I counted right before this. I've been on nine shows on production staff at this point.
Wow.
Which is more than I thought.
Hmm.
But yeah, I did because we did 2 summer camps each summer, so I did all 4 of those when I was in high school, including during COVID, which was really rough. But
Hmm.
I then did Legally Blonde right before Newsies. Newsies was my first like Act for Youth
Yes.
actual credit, and then but yeah. It my style as a music director kind of my biggest thing is uh, a lot of people feel like they have to sing it note for note, and I agree with that to an extent.
Hmm.
But if you're not letting the actor feel the emotion of the song and let that come out musically as well, then it's
Hmm.
going to be very very stagnant and gets really boring. And also, it's too much that the actor has to think about that they have to stick note for note for note for note for
Yeah.
note. So my thing is, I am more than happy to let the actor have liberties, and I will also give them certain liberties that I come up with myself if I feel something needs to be there that isn't there at the moment.
Hmm.
But and here's the thing, like people are like, "Oh, but you let them go crazy." No, if you let it be controlled, like there's a way there. It doesn't have to be completely black or white. There's a lot of gray area where we can play with this and really find a natural way to let these artistic liberties
Yeah.
live within the show, but also be respective to the source material and to the composer still. Um, and then on the other hand of that, just my teaching style, I if you have a question, raise your hand and ask. But at the same time, if not, I'm not going to slow down. We don't
Hmm.
have time. If I'm going to sit here and play this 20 times, it's not going to be conducive to learning, and it's not going to be efficient for learning for me or for you. So
Hmm.
I, let's speed ahead, and if we need to come back to something, we'll come back to something.
Yeah. I love what you said about taking liberties, that you're okay with that, because sometimes it does enhance the performance when the actor is able to slightly change some things. I mean, obviously you don't want to be singing the wrong stuff, like
Right.
if it sounds wrong then it sounds wrong, but if you're taking artistic liberties, or maybe an actor can't quite is not vocally mature enough to hit a certain note, or do something to take liberties and change it a little bit to make it their own, I think that's perfectly acceptable and can add a new type of flavor to the performance. However, if you're doing
Absolutely.
Sondheim, mm-mm-mm.
Mm-mm. That's the thing. It kind of depends on what you're singing. I mean, like for stuff like Six, it calls for it. For stuff
Yes.
like when we did Lightning Thief, it calls for it. Stuff that is more pop oriented, more like more modern. Like if you're
Yeah.
doing like Rogers and Hammerstein and you're trying to riff, I'm gonna tell you no. Like
Yeah.
that's just not there's a time and a place for both things. And also it gives like I said, like that's what I would want. A lot of what a lot of my philosophy on music directing comes from what I would have wanted when I was in high school. What I
Hmm.
would have wanted what I want when I'm in a cast from a music director. So
Yeah.
like if I'm doing like let's say throwing something at. If I'm doing Dear Evan Hansen and I try to add a riff in somewhere, that's not too much. Of course, yes, I do believe that there is too much. There can be too much. But if I try to add a riff in somewhere and they're like, no, you need to sing it note for note, that's not conducive to the style of music. And that's
Yeah.
just how it is. And that's my philosophy on it. People can disagree, but when I'm controlling and when I am supervising the music over a show, that is my philosophy on it, and people can kind of make up their own perception of it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like it all depends on the context of the show you're doing and like what feels right for the character to do as well with the type of music they're singing. You know, you don't want to be if you're playing Dorothy, you don't want to be belting somewhere over the rainbow. It's supposed to be pretty and soft. You know? But yeah, I love that you said that. All right. So let's talk about Playhouse. How many Playhouse, for those who don't know, there are three main theater companies in Wilson. There's Wilson Arts, who primarily sponsors Act for Youth, and then they do their own summer musical and summer camps. Then there's S2P2, who we had on the show last week with, they recently just did Sweeney Todd. But then there's also Playhouse of Wilson, who they do a full season each year, but it's more catered toward the adult performers in the community. So what do you have to say about Playhouse and the whole company?
Playhouse of Wilson is basically where it is. Okay, I'm trying to think of how to say this. Playhouse of Wilson is the kind of adults. Yeah, it's basically. I mean, it's in the name. It's the Playhouse of Wilson. It's kind of the adults' place where they can get to do theater and get to do stuff that's not going to be done. Like I said, like Act for Youth, is strictly for kids. S2P2 kind of fluctuates, and then Playhouse is for adults, and that's just kind of what it is. I mean, for me, it's great because that means that like. I can't tell you how many times I've been in a show in Wilson and I've been told, "Oh, you would have gotten this part if the cast was older."
Yeah.
And I'm like, because like there's a lot of kids that do theater, and I'm like, so doing stuff with Playhouse is great because it's all adults. Like company earlier in the fall when we did that, I was the youngest one in the cast, and like I had never had that happen before. So it was a big learning curve. It was a big learning curve for me. And it was also cool to be the youngest one and have all these people that have been doing this for so long around me to like learn from them, and also like people that are like older than I am that haven't been doing for as long that were asking me things and like picking my brain about stuff. That was really cool as well. It's really cool when you're I feel like when you're in high school, like when you're in Act for Youth, it's not as collaborative because of the fact that it's more of an educational program.
Yeah.
Which is great. I think that I believe that's what it needs to be. When you're working with all adults, you have the chance to be a lot more collaborative about stuff because you have people that have been doing this for a long time, so they can throw stuff out, you throw stuff out, and you kind of refine the show all together.
Yeah. It's a melting pot of different people putting in their 2 cents and their input into like this collective piece of art that you're trying to make.
Yes.
And yeah, you mentioned Playhouse did Company this year. They also did, what did they do?
Little Women.
They did Little Women. That was a phenomenal production. Absolutely breathtaking. It was great play. Best play I've seen in a while, I would say. And then now they're doing Bridges of Madison County, which is why you're on the podcast today, and you're playing Bud, correct?
Yes, I am. I'm playing Bud Johnson.
Awesome. Talk about the show itself. What give a brief synopsis for people who don't know what the show is.
Okay, so I wrote this down so I wouldn't miss any needed information going in. No spoilers here. I'm not going to spoil anything. But this is what I had. So the Bridges of Madison County centers around Francesca Johnson, an Italian woman who came to America after World War II with her husband Bud, played by me, an American soldier she met overseas. By 1965, the two have built a life together on their Iowa farm and raised a family. While Bud and the kids are away at the state fair, Francesca is looking forward to a few quiet days alone until she unexpectedly meets Robert Kincaid, a traveling National Geographic photographer passing through town. What begins as a chance encounter quickly turns into a deep and life-changing connection for them both. In this sweeping and intimate romance about love, sacrifice, and the roads we choose in life, Francesca is forced to confront the dreams and what-ifs she's buried for years. Ultimately, she must answer the impossible question, does she leave with the man who's awakened something inside of her, or stay with the family and life she's built?
Oh, my man came prepared. That is the best answer I've gotten so far doing this podcast for giving a synopsis for a show. Yes.
I knew that was going to be asked, and I was like, let me be prepared so I don't miss any context people need to know going in.
Yes, I'm so glad
it jumps straight into it, and it's a lot of the stuff is a lot of the context for things is in the songs, and I know for people like my mom, when she goes to shows, she has to look up stuff beforehand because she's like, I can't keep up. Like I don't. It's like she's not really a theater person.
Yes.
So it's hard for her to keep up. So she has to like have like the synopsis on like Wikipedia on her phone like, the whole show to keep along. But no, I wanted to make sure that I got everything that needed to be going. That people needed to know going in.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Some shows are so incredibly complicated that it's even for theater people, it's hard to keep up with if you're not like actively like really involved in it. Well, yeah. The music behind the Bridges of Madison County is phenomenal, absolutely breathtaking. What is it like for you to work on this project and being able to sing some of the amazing songs by Jason Robert Brown?
Gosh, okay, so this is a dream show for me. Jason Robert Brown is my favorite musical theater composer, always has been. His music fits my voice like an absolute glove. There's almost all of his shows there's a little bit of like pop and country twang in there. Kind of lets me, like, specifically this one, I'm speaking and singing in a southern accent the entire show.
Yes.
Which kind of, it's funny because that's how I grew up talking, and that's how I grew up singing. So like it's kind of like a switch that flips. Like when I started voice lessons at 17, I walked in and Liz Winston, my voice teacher, I said, "Hey, how you doing?" And she was like, "Okay, we're gonna have to fix that." And so yeah, it was kind of funny. But like it's also kind of started to shift a little bit back towards that during the show. I was in my voice lesson the other day, and she was like, I was singing something from Merrily We Roll Along, and yeah. And
what are you singing?
Like, I'm singing what is the?
Is it a Frank or Charlie song?
I think it's.
Is it Good Thing Going?
Yes, Good Thing Going. I'm singing Good Thing Going.
I'm singing that too. I love that.
Oh, really?
I love Merrily We Roll Along. It is phenomenal.
Oh, it's so good. But no, I was singing, and one of my vowels came out, and she goes, and then afterwards, she was going over the notes with me, and she was like, "You're singing with a southern accent and talking with it in that show, aren't you?" I said, "Mm-hmm." And she goes, "It's coming out into your other vowels." I was like, "Dang it."
Yes.
She was like, "We're gonna have to revisit that after you finish the show."
Yes, I have.
So yeah, it's very cool because I mean, like, the last 5 years is one of my dream shows. This is one of my dream shows. I mean, I've been singing Robert's music for years and years and years. I took Wondering, one of his Act 1 ballads. I took Wondering to Nats. Let's see, that would have been 2023, and I won regionals with that song.
Nice.
So, yeah, I absolutely adore this musical. I was on play reading committee for Playhouse this past year, and I was like, and I threw this out, and I was like, this is the kind of stuff, it's very much for adults. No one else around here could really do it. I was like, this is the kind of stuff that Playhouse really needs to sink its teeth into, and it really like caught steam. Debbie Williams, our president, she was she heard that I had said it, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I love that show." And I was like, okay, I think this has something going for it. But no, it's really cool to do a show by a composer that I absolutely hold in the highest regard.
Yeah. Okay. Where would you? Let's see. You got Bridges. You got The Last 5 Years by Jason Robert Brown. Then you have Parade. I think those are his most
Oh,
famous musicals. How would you
yeah.
rank them? Order them one to
Oh, that's
three.
impossible. In terms of the show themselves, or like the music specifically.
I would say, well, do both. How would you rate them based on the music, and how would you rate them
Okay.
based on the show?
In terms of the show itself, I would probably rank. Hmm. Parade would probably be one if I'm ranking the show itself.
Yeah,
Like the story is
it's moving.
absolutely so moving, absolutely gut wrenching.
Hmm.
Um, I would probably put the Bridges of Madison County second in the last 5 years last in terms of the
Got.
show itself. Not because like any of them they're all incredible. It's more about
Hmm.
like two of them are well, the last 5 years is only two people on stage the whole time. It's very back and
Yeah.
forth. It's a great show, but it's not the same. It's not the same level of theater the other two are. Is what I'm trying to get at, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, in terms of music, I think that Bridges is number one. I think
Hmm.
this is his pièce de résistance. I think this is his magnum opus. I think this is his best score he's ever written. Um, probably the last 5 years second, and then Parade third.
Gotcha. I can definitely respect that rating. I
Yeah,
love Parade. Parade's one of my favorites.
it's so
Um,
good. It's so good.
it is phenomenal.
It's funny. That was my first Nats I did when I was in high school. I sang "It's Hard to Speak My Heart" from Parade. So I've been doing Jason Robert Brown music for years.
Yeah, I'm doing that for upcoming Miscast Cabaret I'm doing with S2P2. I'm singing
Oh,
that.
really? Nice.
Not Miscast Cabaret. We did that back
Um,
last semester. It's Tony Loser's Cabaret.
Tony Losers. There you go. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, and what you said about having an accent in a show, you having a country accent in the show, and then that's bleeding over into some of your other vowels because it gets so intertwined in your brain and like how you start to sing because you want it to be it's so consistent for the show. You don't want it to drop for the show, but then that starts to bleed over into other things. I have experienced that so much recently with Shrek, doing
Yeah.
like the whole Shrek accent, which I feel like I was able to make it pretty consistent, but then uh
Yeah, you
it
were.
oh thank you. But then it's been bleeding over to like some of my like Stee. I'll
Yeah.
I'll sing that in like the songs I do, and I'm not even thinking about it. And so that's obviously a habit I have to
Liz
break.
mentioned that when it happened with me, she was like, "You and Matt, oh my god." She was like, "I have to break all these accents now."
Hmm. Yes, it is a challenge. But yeah, is there like a particular part in the show that like where are y'all in the rehearsal process?
So we are. Let's see. I think we're just over a week away from load in.
Gotcha.
So we have our first run through on Monday, I think. Like so,
Hmm.
right now we're running acts and like refining things. But yeah, I'm pretty sure our first run through is on Monday, and then we move into the theater on the 17th. I want to say.
Nice.
So yeah, we're deep into like the grind of it right now.
This I think this right before you go to Tech Week and you're running the show, maybe doing like alternating between acts. Like are y'all doing that? Doing
Yeah.
running one act and then the next day you're running the next act and then you're working it and refining it. I think this is like the make or break point of a show. And typically, it really comes together here before you get to the tech week and you start adding the lights, the hair, the makeup, the costumes, the set pieces. It really helps refine the acting so you can just really enhance the show through all of the technical aspects of it.
Yeah.
Um, but what I was going to ask is is there a particular like part of the show that you like to do the most? Because I find like in the shows that I do, like there's always this one part of a show that I was like, I love this part. I don't even have to think about like performing it on stage. I'm just like, in a flow state at that part of a
Yeah.
show.
My favorite. There's two different answers here. My favorite part of the show, like what's probably the easiest for me, for the flow state part of it, is probably my last song in Act One called "Something from a Dream."
Okay.
And it's Bud. He's singing in a bar, like he's just got off the phone with Francesca back home, and he's singing
Hmm.
about all these like about the state of their relationship, kind of, and how he views it. And one of the most heartbreaking lines for me is because at the end of the day, like going into this, like this character, I mean, he's being cheated on actively, and also
Yeah.
he's not stupid. He understands that like their relationship isn't the best right now, um, and it's part that he doesn't understand why, and he doesn't understand where she's coming from and all in the way that she's feeling. But there's a line in there, and it's and to me, she's still like something from a dream, and to her, I'm like the guy who keeps the lights turned on.
Mm.
And it's like, and for me, I have to play it so straight, but like it inside, it's so gut wrenching to have to say those lines, because like he knows that this is not like working right now.
Yeah.
Um, but
The
then I end
feeling
up
is
singing that
not.
song. Yeah,
The feeling is not
exactly.
reciprocated.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And the most challenging part is near the end of Act Two, when the family returns, and there's a whole scene between me and the son, and shout out to Joe. He's actually older than me, which is really funny, because Bud's like 50 years old, and I'm 24, so it's a learning curve for sure. And but so yeah, Joe, the guy that's playing my son, he's actually like a year older than me or so,
That's
and
funny.
yeah, it's really funny. And we had this whole like really intense scene about like where we're going back and forth, like he like I think he's trying to run away with a car, and he's like, I'm just going to the store to get ice cream, and like we kind of go back and forth, and I'm like, don't like he's running his mouth at me, I'm barking back at him, and then there's like a physical altercation. That's probably the most challenging part of it all, because I still one, because I'm having to be this domineering like person in the scene,
Yeah.
uh kind of like almost like a very much like alpha dog, because this guy's a war veteran. He's very much like the like a veteran, like
Hmm.
army veteran dad, like country like southern father. And
Hmm.
so I have to be this domineering force about to my son in the scene, when I'm like younger than he is, so it's kind of funny. But so that's the hardest part of that. But it's also like, I mean, it's just also very intense for like a moment, and
Hmm.
like having to hold that um is it can be a little dark, that's for sure. I mean, like from things in my own life that I've like gone through and stuff, like it can be a little daunting to play, but I mean, it's very rewarding when done correctly.
Yes. Intense scenes. Yeah, they are very challenging, but
Yeah.
like even like from the actor's point of view, like you said, it can be rewarding, but like seeing it from the audience's perspective, it's just sometimes when done like correctly, it can be mind blowing. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah. Well, what do you hope audiences will take away from coming to see Bridges?
I hope that audiences take away um the heart behind the story. I understand, like I saw a podcast, the woman that played Elizabeth Stanley, the woman that played Francesca on tour.
Hmm.
She was on a podcast, and someone asked her like, how did this play on tour? And she was like, about the same way it played on Broadway. It was only open for a couple months.
Wow.
And she was like, if you think about it, at the heart of the story, it's about an affair, and it's about this
Hmm.
woman cheating on her husband. And she was like, and you have the demographic of theater goers, and specifically ticket buyers, is mostly women, and they're bringing their husbands and their boyfriends to this, and now their partners are looking at them like, is something going on that you're not telling me? But like, there's such heart in it, and it's such a beautiful score and a beautiful story. um and it's not just about the affair. It's about this woman who her circumstances in her life have led her to this point, and she's never really had the chance to feel for someone like she does for this person until now, because of the circumstance. Like she early, like when she lived in Italy, she had a fiance named Paolo, and ultimately, I mean, you can, without me saying it, you can kind of guess what happens with the war. And when she comes to America, when Bud meets her, it's kind of like yeah, we just met, but this is my escape, and maybe I can learn to love him. And in my own way, I think she does love him. I don't think she's in love with him. But I do think she loves him. She appreciates what he has done for her in her life, and also with the family they've raised. But this is a woman whose circumstances have led her to this point, and now she has to decide, I've been given this chance for something new. Do I follow it, and not only betray my husband, but also leave my kids in this life I built behind, even though it wasn't what I wanted initially, to follow this person, or do I stay for my family, my kids and my husband who all need me? And yeah, I may not be happy all the time, but this is the life I know, and this is what I have come to, and this is who I am now. Wow. So it's very much a back and forth about that. That's her internal struggle the entire show.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely love.
I hope that answered your question.
No, yeah, for sure. I love a deeper show compared to. Yeah, I will much rather go see a deeper show, a more meaningful show, a more moving show than this blockbuster type show.
There's so much nuance to it, and in case you can't tell, I'm very passionate about it. It's one of my favorite shows ever. But yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah, that from your answer there, it sounds like you've either independently or as a group done like a lot of in-depth script work and like table work, if you will.
We didn't do much. I mean, I think Sherry, our director, Sherry Lee Allen, I think she did some table work with Mary Beth, who's our Francesca, and Josh, who's our Robert. I think she did a night of table work with them. All of that is what my personal, what I said has been my personal tie to it. Because I've been reading and going through the script for years and years and years, and that's kind of where I've come to with it.
Awesome. Well, that is a lesson right there for all actors. Like, you perform your best because you are a great performer, but you perform your best when you know the material at your best, and like you know it to your heart and what it means and why it's important. I think that it's like the best advice like to give to an actor is just to be prepared and know why you're doing something.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so audiences can catch Bridges of Madison County May 29th through the 31st, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I think we had a great talk.
Absolutely.
And I can't wait to see the show. Yeah, of course. Huge thank you to Seth Greene for coming on the show and providing his insight about the Bridges of Madison County, the Playhouse of Wilson, and also theater in general. One thing that really stood out from our talk today was just you could see his love for theater so much, and especially his love for the Bridges of Madison County. He knew the show in and out, and he really knew the complexity and the weight that this show holds. I think, like I said in the talk with him, I think when an actor really knows the complexity and the weight behind what they are performing and the purpose and the reason of why this is important or why audiences should see this, it informs their choices on stage. It informs their whole performance in a way unlike anything else can prepare a performer. And I think Seth really embodies that, and other actors should learn from him and do the same. If you want to see him perform in the Bridges of Madison County, Be sure to check it out May 29th through the 31st. Friday and Saturday will be at 7:30 p.m. and Sunday will be at 3 p.m. Tickets are $23 in advance and $25 at the door, and this will be at the Edna Boykin Cultural Center in downtown Wilson. And thanks for listening to Q to Q. If you enjoyed this podcast and support community theater, please subscribe to Q the podcast on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. Thank you.